How do you work with leaders in terms of, I suppose, in a lot of ways, their vulnerabilities around connecting
Mm.
with families as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
without them taking on the many social issues that are happening in our world today, and the challenges that families are facing, and how do you work with leadership not to take on their shoulders all of those challenges or issues that others are facing? It takes a certain type of person to be able to remain grounded and stable and not be sort of, I guess, impacted in a detrimental way by the things that they're hearing about different things that are happening in families or different family
Mm.
situations. Is there a way that you support leaders to manage that
Yeah.
aspect of the job?
Yeah, it certainly has to begin with the your school's objects, your purpose, what it is that you do well. You know, where do you apply your energies based upon school values and beliefs, and that creates some sort of boundaries and a funnel, if you like, around what sorts of issues and concerns would teachers get involved in. Teachers and schools ought to get involved in any matter where the welfare of the child impacts their learning and engagement at school. So, I used to have these arguments with parents. Something would happen on a Saturday night, and I would want to take some action, or get involved. And parents say, none of your business that happened on Saturday night. And I'd say, look, I'm sorry, it is, because for the first 2 days of this week, that's all those teenagers have talked about. They've been completely out of class. Their mind's been somewhere else. There's the bullying's occurring at school. So it is my problem and I'm going to step in. So I've always maintained that if it's impacting a child's accessibility to learning and their engagement with the school, we ought to be having conversations, with parents. But it's a dialogue that way. I never approach it from a punitive sense, but here, let's have a dialogue about these parties on the weekend, or about this social engagement, or about how much time, your daughter's spending preparing for the Taylor Swift concert, something like that. But I think that's where we can encourage our leaders to take up the dialogue, either directly or through their leadership, middle leadership teams with parents, so that it's just like a conversation the best you can. I've got some information I want to share. I think there's probably some things you might try or do. Keep me posted, keep me briefed, but we are concerned about it. That would be the first one. I think coming back though to the preconditions for leaders to actually manage all of this is to help them understand what the benefits are.